Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do have public comment forms available. If anyone would like to discuss anything that's on our agenda tonight, before we get to those items, if you fill out the public comment forms here and return it to the board table, we will recognize you and allow you that opportunity. We also have public comment at the end of our meeting for any topic anyone would like to discuss. And again, just fill out a form, return it to the board table, and you will be recognized at the appropriate time. All board members were provided background information to the items on the agenda tonight in preparation for tonight's meeting. Our meeting is being live streamed, so hello to those who are viewing remotely. Before we get started with our regular agenda, I do want to read a statement. We received the resignation today officially from Trustee Troy Williams, so I'll read that. This is sent to the board, Dr. Alanez and Mr. Elwood. Greetings. As you know, my career has taken me in another direction, and at this time it is with heavy heart that I must resign my position from the Portage Township School Board effective today. I wanted to take a moment and say it has been a privilege and honor to serve on the Portage Township School Board of Trustees with all of you. I want to thank you for the opportunity to work alongside you for the betterment of Portage Township schools, students, and staff. I have very much enjoyed my time serving on this board. Lastly, I want to personally thank Superintendent Dr. Alanez for her leadership and the staff of Portage Township Schools for their commitment to the students. There are many great things occurring within our buildings, and I am blessed to have been part of it. Sincerely, Troy J. Williams, Portage Township School Board Secretary. With that resignation, that starts a series of events, which we'll talk about at the end of the meeting. But for the immediate, Troy was our board secretary, so we do need to replace him, that position. So at this time, I would like to nominate Dr. Shauna Findley as board secretary. Is there a second or any additional nominations?
Second that.
We have this motion and a second. Are there any additional nominations? Hearing none, call the roll.
Trustee Finley, yes. Trustee Vasquez.
Yes.
Trustee Valletta.
Yes.
And Trustee Wilkie.
Okay, congratulations,
Thank you.
Dr. Finley. Trustee Laurie. Okay, next we'll begin now with our good news report.
Good evening, and here's this week's good news report. Congratulations to PHS junior Jalen Johnson on making the 2023 Indiana Boys Junior All-Star Team following a stellar basketball season. He will get the opportunity to play the Senior All-Star Team this summer in Indianapolis. Congratulations, Jalen, on this huge achievement. Portage High School English teacher Ms. Jody Newby has been named an outstanding graduate student in liberal studies for the Indiana University East School of Humanities and Social Sciences. Ms. Newby is obtaining her master's degree through a partnership between PTS and IU that supports teachers in their efforts to become certified to teach dual credit courses. She will be recognized by IU East at their honors convocation later this month. Over 120 Fakeley Middle School 8th graders will take on the 3 Dune Challenge this spring thanks to a grant from the National Park Trust. Fakeley Middle School physical education teacher Terry Keitzman will be taking the students in 2 groups to complete the 1.5-mile 3 Dune Challenge trail in the Indiana Dunes National Park. While completing the challenge, students will be cleaning up any litter they see along the trail as well. Our Portabots are returning to the World Championships after a successful performance at state. High School Team B, Big Brain, and Middle School Team M, Maverick, qualified with their successful showing last month at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Additionally, a big shout out goes to Portabots coach Mr. John Kathis, who was honored with the Mentor of the Year award. Congratulations to all. Portage High School sophomore Anna Van also took 9th place in Cisco programming, and junior Sean Boseth placed 5th in economic research. Thank you, and we are Portage proud.
What a great update. Congratulations to both students and staff for the recognition and the accomplishments. Pretty exciting. Okay, next up on our agenda, we'd like to welcome Principal Michelle Stewart for some Willow Creek highlights.
Thank you all very much. Thank you to our school board members, Dr. Alanes, honored guests, most of which happen to be my family. Welcome to the group. I got to tell you that I know that usually when we have these at a school, the idea is to give a data. I'm not gonna, and what are you gonna do about it? Sorry, but you know, enough data because I am just so, well, the only word is geeked out by what is happening at the end of Jungle Hall. And I just want to talk about that a little bit and talk about the history a little bit of this place. I promise I won't take too long. But every summer, not counting those COVID years that we had, I have been approached by somebody who's been at a class reunion who have wanted to take a tour through the building to see their old high schools. And every year I've done that. So every summer I come on a Saturday morning and I take them through. Sometimes it's a group of 6. One time it was a group of 35. There have been some good people and I've learned so much from them about what this building was like. And so I want to kind of talk about a couple of things. So first of all, built as a high school in the early 50s. The original building was just the 2-story, what we call B hall. So this hallway down here, not where this door is, but all the way down there, double-story, 2-story building, that was it. That was Portage High School. There was no Jungle Hall, there was no A hall, there wasn't anything out that way. It was just that, and there was a cow field across the way, a pasture. And some of the people that I've taken around said, yeah, they'd look up at the window and there'd be a cow at the door, because it would cross that huge 2-lane road that was Willow Creek at that time. When the addition started going on, and Amanda will know, Dr. Alanes will know about this because of her time as principal at Central, but the hall that we now call B Hall is parallel to Central Avenue. When they built that addition, it was originally an elementary school. And it was called Central Elementary because it was on Central Avenue. Well, when they built the building over there on Russell Street, they kept the name. So it was Central Elementary. So if you've ever wondered why this building that is not in the center of anything is called Central, that was the reason. So this building, and again, the people I would take through, they'd say, yep, I was in first grade in this, and then I moved over there and I was taking algebra. So it was very interesting. But Jungle Hall was not part of the original building. And I got schooled on that real quickly when I talk about, oh, you know, Jungle Hall's always been here. No, it wasn't. It wasn't there the first couple of years, as only some of those people who are of a certain age, as we all we're getting there, right? But it was very soon. It was one of the early additions to it. So we figure, when we did a little bit of research, we figured that agave plant at the end of Jungle Hall is between 65 and 70 years old. Now that particular plant is called a 100-year agave. And it's called that because the agave blooms once in its lifetime and then it no longer blooms. The plant then dies once it's seeded, and then the seeds create more plants. And so Mr. Wissing so aptly named that Big Al a long time ago. And so Big Al is out there right now, and at the beginning of March, Big Al started its transformation. We noticed it in earnest around the 15th of March. At first we just thought it was some more leaves coming up, but it actually turned out to be the stalk coming up. And you can see now on the 10th of April that it is now touching the glass, which makes me very nervous. The stalk, according to the research that we've done, will go 20 to 30 feet high, and then it will blossom. And then once it blossoms, again, once only in its life, it transforms, allowing its seeds to pass on its glory. So, for Tom and I, who are here, and we are transitioning into another kind of thing, we are very much like Big Al, right? Hopefully we've grown tall, and now that we have planted some seeds and made some small differences, we can move on as well. So thank you for your time. Thank you for everything that you do here at the Creek and the support that you give to us. It has been a great adventure, and I, along with my incredible staff, both present and past, have just done some tremendous things here. So I thank you for the opportunities that we've had to make some of those differences. So thank you.
Amanda, do you have any comments?
Several. Mrs. Stewart has been in education for 37 years, 17, what she has been the principal here at Willow Creek. Assistant principal previously, and also the principal at Central Elementary. She did decide for a brief moment to depart from Portage and quickly came back. And when I sat in her office when she brought me over from being an elementary teacher, and I asked her, you know, I know you left, what made you come back? And she said, because this is home. And I was fortunate to teach under Michelle for many years. She is who encouraged me to go into administration and has been a strong force in my life as an educator. I also share a name with Tiffany and Allie's previous pet, Mandy. So, you know, we go way back as far as the times that I have had the pleasure of knowing Michelle personally and professionally. I have a feeling she's not going to go very far. And I'm just very grateful for all that she's done for myself personally, but more importantly, for all of the students that have been in her charge for the many, many years that she's been a Portage educator.
That's awesome. As I said to Michelle in the hallway, she is a Portage Township School legend. I mean, you know, her time here and definitely left a positive impact. And I'll share one just, which I love the story because my son Anthony, as a student here at Willow Creek, had a tendency to have his headphones in or his phone out frequently. And she took his phone from him once, and he thought he was going to get it back at the end of the day, and she says, no, we have a school board meeting tonight. I'm going to deliver it to your dad at the school board meeting. And he was mortified. And she, sure enough, she came to the meeting and said, I have Anthony's phone. And I was like, that's a perfect example. You know, he learned his lesson. He didn't want that to happen again. So I don't know if he got caught again or not, but I don't think so. So it's pretty neat. There's a special place here at Willow Creek forever because of the impact that you made here on the staff, the students, and you talk about the memories of this building, and I'm one of those who was here in high school a long, long time ago. You definitely are a big part of this building and our school system, so congratulations to you. Any comments?
Absolutely. Yes, it's coming. So, Mrs. Stewart, you really have impacted both of our sons, my husband and I, Davion and Jimmy. And I will say that whenever there was an event happening, and before I even go there, thank you, family, for sharing her with us. Because whenever there was something happening here after school, Mrs. Stewart's right here in the middle of it. The football games, the basketball games, track meets. I mean, and we're talking between Davion and Jimmy, there are some years. So you've done that for a long time. So I know that they're excited to have you at home. Yeah, I see. And I will say that your staff, you exemplified leadership because your staff definitely followed behind you in your footsteps. And they're sitting here right now smiling because they were right along with you whenever something was going on, positive or, you know, or just having to deal with other things that were happening outside. So I want to say thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your commitment to our community, and thank you for your commitment to our kids, and thank you just for being an awesome educator.
I'd like to say also thank you as an educator, a retired educator, and administrator. It's really hard work. And your day just doesn't begin at 7:30 or 7. It begins really early and it ends really late. And it's not during the weekend. You think about it, you work sometimes from home, working on teacher evaluations. In the summertime, you're planning for the beginning of the school year. It's endless. So I thank you for that. And I also want to say that I did have the opportunity to attend a chamber event where you were selected as Educator of the Year, and that was this year. So, congratulations about that too. And I remember sitting with your family and seeing how proud they were and are of you. So I would like for you to just take a couple minutes and introduce your family members, please.
Anybody else have anything to add?
And Mrs. Stewart, I also had two students come through here, and it was an absolute pleasure having you be the leader in charge while they were here. You were leaving some huge shoes to fill. Congratulations on your retirement. You're so
Okay, Dr. Allen, as we have another retiree here tonight.
We do. We also have Tom Aspen, who is going to be retiring 13 years of service. Already has. Already has 13 years of service. So, again, another job that is very important, takes a lot of skill, and a whole lot of patience. So we thank you, Tom, for your support. Those are
Thank you, Tom. I know that's got to be a tough job. I don't think I could do it. So I know you know I can. So I commend you for that. It's an important job, and sometimes people might take that for granted, but you certainly appreciate bus drivers and yourself for what you've done. So congratulations.
You are the first line of defense in transportation. I would say that anyone that's in transportation, because as soon as those kids walk on the bus, you get temperament right then and there. And if they're going to have a good, bad, or whatever day, and sometimes you'll give a heads up to the administrators and the staff. And I know that that's hard. And at the end of the day, you're getting it. So thank you so much for providing supports to our students and our families. This is the hard, and the weather that comes with us in Northwest Indiana. So thank you, and please enjoy retirement.
I also want to say thank you on behalf of the families and the students, because as we were saying, it's not easy having not even our own children and friends that we sometimes take to different places. I can't imagine how many students would you say you had on a regular basis? And so I know that once the parents either walked them to their stop or they walked on their own, they knew and they trusted you to make sure that their children got to school and got back home safely. So with that, I want to say thank you.
Well, thank you. So before we go on to the rest of our meeting, and I realize this, it's a very riveting meeting, it's exciting, but you don't have to stay for it if you don't want to. So we'll give you an opportunity to leave and enjoy some refreshments out there if you choose. Again, thank you for being here, and you certainly are welcome to stay, but you don't have to.
It's like, let me get the little one. Take care.
Okay, we'll move on now to the rest of our agenda. We have our superintendent's consent agenda with the approval of our personnel report of April the 10th, our donation report, a facility use request report. We have a motion to approve the superintendent's consent agenda.
Second?
We have the motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'd just like to thank the local church for donating $2,219.04. And this money is going to, for Angel Fund, is that correct? So I just wanted to acknowledge.
Thank you. I did not. No, thank you. We'll finish this one, then I'll ask that question. Any other discussion here? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Wilkie?
Yes.
Trustee Finley, yes.
We'll go back. Are there any adjustments to the agenda by the board? Thank you. We have our board's consent agenda with, includes our meeting minutes from our regular board meeting of March the 20th. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have the motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call roll, please.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Wilkie?
Yes.
Trustee Finley? Yes. Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Next, we'll move on to our board development. Do we have any reports from the board?
I have an update. The policy committee met on March 22nd. We reviewed 25 policies. Some of those policies that we reviewed were bylaws and policies, oath of office, programs for high ability students, dress and grooming, suspension and expulsion of students, volunteers, school calendar, school safety, education, school visitors. And those policies will be later on the agenda for first reading.
Thank you. Any other board reports?
Yes, I do. Legislation going to wrap up by April 29th. Lots of bills got to come out of committee by tomorrow in the House of Representatives and then April 13th on the Senate. So the main thing is around the House Bill 1001, which is the state biennial budget. On Thursday, the third version is going to come out, and then the fourth version of this budget will be the last one, and then that there's one more version to go. So let's pay attention to that. Some of the things that are really happening really fast right now is about the school curriculum, and that would be Senate Bill 72. Last week, the bill went to Education Committee. It was heard, came out of Education Committee, and it was heard in the House. And this bill will require schools to report to the Department of Education regarding whether the schools provide instruction on cursive writing. There are two amendments to that bill that were also present, and that they're thinking about adding, considering the knowledge, skills, and practices necessary to understand and utilize emerging technologies. So that was included, and then also adding, which is really interesting here, to create a process that allows a student who is presently enrolled in high school to retake any class that the student took as a virtual class during the 2019 through 2022 school year because of the COVID public health emergency. And if a student elects to retake any such class, the student must receive full credit for the class, and the grade earned by the student must replace the grade the student received when the student took that class virtually. There was a lot of testimony that came out of that specific hearing, and as a result of that, there was an amended bill that was passed today, so they're going to make some amendments to this current version, and it passed 9 yeses and 1 no to actually vote on amending that particular bill. Not sure how it's going to shake up, but it's really interesting to know that that's going to happen. There's also some other bills that are out about modifying the number of waivers that high schools can offer per year. And the goal is to decrease it from 9 to 6 to 3% over a series of years that we need to be watching as well, because that'll impact us, especially as we're thinking about our students with IEPs and other learning disabilities. We really got to think about how those waivers impact those kiddos. The most controversial right now rests and resides around curriculum. Several parents testified in support of the language while librarians and representatives from the Indiana Federation of Libraries and teacher organizations and Indiana School Board Association testified against the amendment to talk about what they want to do with the curriculum, and that is making those provisions regarding materials harmful to minors, to make sure that the board is thinking about adopting a policy to publish each school's online public access catalog on the website of each school, and allow a parent or guardian of a student enrolled in the school or resident of the school corp to submit a request to remove material from the school library that is obscene or harmful. And the policy must include an appeal to the school board. The thing that makes this really hard and harsh is that there's the current language includes legal defenses that you can now charge. As it stands right now, you can charge a teacher or a school official, including school board members, for having such things that are against the law in your libraries. And we're sitting here in a library right now, and I was just talking to one of the team members here and looking at how things are all designed and mapped out for our kids to access. We want to make sure that we're doing our part as a community, to make, as a board specifically, to make sure that we're doing what's in the best interest of kids. So I'm not sure what's going to come out of that particular bill, but there's going to be voting on that one today, so hopefully we'll hear something about that one particularly soon. And then the last bill that I think we really should think about and keep eyes on is around House Bill 1483, and that's prohibiting bullying in schools. It was amended and passed out of the Senate Education and Career Development Committee on Wednesday by a vote of 11-0. The amended bill requires the discipline rules on bullying to include a requirement to report bullying incidents to the parents of the victim and the alleged perpetrator in an expedited manner, but no later than 5 business days after the incident is reported. Requires the rules to include provisions that allow a parent of a student to review any audiovisual materials that contain graphic, sexual, or violent content used in bullying or suicide prevention programs. And lastly, allows the discipline rules to include provisions to determine the severity of the bullying incident and whether the incident warrants a transfer of the victim or alleged perpetrator to another school in the school corporation. And that bill today is being heard on the Senate floor. So those are just a few of the bills that are really high priority that we should be watching for. And as I just stated previously, by April the 29th, everything should be somewhat settled. But I'm pretty sure we're going to have some fun discussions with Attorney Elwood. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for keeping us up to date on that extremely important stuff that goes on down at the State House that is going to impact us one way or another.
It is.
Do we have any other board reports? Okay, if not, we'll move on to old business. I don't believe we have any old business. We'll move on to new business. First off, we have our approval of the Food to Schools Purchasing Cooperative Agreement. Dr. Alanez?
Yes, this is a one-year agreement for the 23-24 school year. This is the cooperative agreement that allows us buying power for milk and bread. This now represents over 99 school districts, serving 216,000 plus students in the state of Indiana.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the Food to Schools Purchasing Cooperative Agreement?
I make a motion to approve the Food to Schools Purchasing Cooperative Agreement.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Trustee Wilkie?
Yes.
Trustee Finley, yes. Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes. Next up, we have our approval to continue board docs.
This is our form of communication as far as upcoming and past board meeting information, as well as the housing of our school board policies. It allows, obviously, the board and superintendent to have the information and also archive such information for the public. Of course, when you consider the fee associated with board docs, which I will share with you, is $2,700. It is a great way to
Thank you. Do you have a motion to approve to continue board docs?
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Trustee Finley, yes. Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Wilkie?
Yes.
Next up, we have retroactive approval of the Portage High School overnight field trip to Bloomington, Indiana, which took place March 24th and 25th for a co-ed indoor track meet. Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second?
We have the motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just a question, why is it, I know it's retroactive, was there a change in the schedule? Why are we?
No, when
What
you are
happened?
approving something retroactive, there are a lot of times that trips occur in between meetings, but just for the formal process of making certain that the board does receive the information that the trip occurred and under what circumstances, we still, as common practice, put it on the agenda for you to
Thank you.
review. So yeah, a lot of those competitions occur in between meetings, so if they miss getting it into us. I'm not for certain, Attorney Elwood, if there's anything additional as far as like insurance-wise that need to come before us or before the board.
No, I think it's exactly so.
Okay.
In many cases, and I don't know if it's exactly this one, but they have to get them qualified before they know if they're going or not. Right. And then oftentimes it doesn't give you time, enough leeway to.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Wilkie?
Yes.
Trustee Finley? Yes.
Okay, next up, we have our first reading of the Neola policies.
As Trustee Wilkie stated, there were 25 policies reviewed. I want to personally thank Trustee Vasquez and Trustee Wilkie and Mrs. Lindgren, who do a lot of work to get these policies in order before they come to the table. I will also share with you that the association president for our teachers, as required by discussion, did receive a copy of the policies before bringing them to her first reading and did confirm that she had a chance to review them.
Thank you. As I always say, I commend the work of the policy committee. That's not an easy task, going through these and reviewing them, and then bringing them here for approval. So let this constitute our first reading of these Neola policies. We'll come back at our next meeting for approval. Anybody have any other questions or comments?
I'd just like to comment that that is one of the priorities of any school board is to make sure that we oversee the policies, add or delete, make comments. They're always a good discussion when we do review them. We just don't say, yes, it's okay. We really have conversations about each and every one of them. So it is time consuming, but it's worth all the time and effort because these policies are the ones that guide us on a regular basis. So just wanted to let you know that this is one of the top priorities of any school board is to make sure that our policies are updated.
Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda, we have the approval of the overnight field trip by Portage High School to BPA Conference in Anaheim, California on April the 26th through the 30th. Portage High School Robotics World Championships in Dallas, Texas on April 26th through the 29th. And the Middle School World Robotics Championship in Dallas, Texas on April 26th through the 29th. Do we have a motion to approve these overnight field trips?
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just want to say congratulations to this this group. Coach, he's always going to be Coach Kappas to me. I'm sorry. Coach Kappas does an amazing job and really does invest a lot of his time. And it was great to see him be nominated as the Mentor of the Year. I had the opportunity to be in Dallas last year around the time that this event was happening for a basketball game, and there were kids everywhere. So to know that they're going on this stage again this year is a great representation for our community. So I just wanted to say thank you to the leadership here and to John Kappas and his team as well as the kids and their families. So
Thank you. And I'd like to add congratulations and thank you to Mr. Bernacki, too.
Yes.
The BPA, every year, there's one or more of our students who make it through the state championships and qualify for these world championships. So, and again, great job, and what a great opportunity for these kids to be able to travel and to compete with other schools around the country. So it's hats off to the kids as well as the teachers who put the time and effort into this. Any other comments?
Just like to thank the families that take them back and forth to practice, and of course, some of them, I understand, will be going with them, traveling as chaperones or taking their own children, and, you know, financially, they also are investing money in their children, which is, you know, it's well worth it, but they'll always remember this for the rest of their lives. So, thank you to everyone who has a role in it.
Thank you. If there's no further discussion, call the roll, please.
Trustee Milano?
Yes.
Trustee Wilkie?
Yes.
Trustee Finley, yes. Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
And next, we have our approval of contracts for the IT department for Incident IQ and Vanco RevTrack.
Yes, the contract with Incident IQ will expand our ticketing system to include a better system that will allow any user in Portage Township Schools to enter a ticket and receive support from our IT team on a quicker basis. This will replace Upkeep and cost $27,298 from July 1st of 23 until June 30th of 24. Also, the Vanco's RevTrack is a payment process company. This offers a wide range of payment solutions. It's affordable pricing. It does not charge PTS for its use. There is a 3.49% convenience fee, however, charged to the user. It is not the only way that we allow families to make payments, though. However, some feel that that convenience fee is just that, a little convenient, so it is upfront in stating that 3.49% convenience charge. And eFunds currently charges PTS $350 annual in addition to the 3.41 convenience fee. So again, it is also, you know, something that the $350 will not be charged this year if we switch. The system also will integrate with PowerSchool. This is the biggest convenience for everyone involved, for student fees, and Heartland for student meals. Attorney Elwood can attest to the importance of those fees being able to automatically, when paid, be updated into PowerSchool. It really helps with our timing of getting those fees reported properly.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the contracts for the ID department for Incident IQ and Vanco RevTrack?
Motion to approve?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Trustee Wilkie?
Yes.
Trustee Finley, yes. Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Milano?
Yes. Okay, now we'll move on to superintendent reports. Dr. Alanes.
I want to make sure to personally thank all of our 2023 retirees. We anticipate that we may end up having a few more, and in the event that we do, we'll make sure to also acknowledge them. And although they were not able to attend the reception this evening, I do want to take a moment to just share their years of service. Mark Fisher, 27 years at Portage High School. Larry Tharp, 37 years at Portage High School. Kathleen Tompkins, 24 years at Portage High School. Judy Schrader, 48 years at Willow Creek. She happened to be not only my guidance counselor, but also both of my daughters. Vic Duda, 13 years at Willow Creek. I had the pleasure of mentoring Vic. Great man. Janine Apathy, 36 years. She's currently at South Haven Elementary. Tom Kruger, 5 years at Auxiliary Services. Tom Askren, 13 years in transportation. Margaret Burke, 10 years in food service. And Michelle Stewart, 37 years. Congratulations to all of our retirees. We wish you the very best. Please stay in touch. I had a few other brief announcements. Say that for Attorney Elwood. First of April 18th is our next strategic planning. This will be the third of 4 sessions. Again, we will be in the La Venda Learning Lab at 4:30, and it will start at 5 p.m. with Steve Gordon. We also have April 24th, our next board meeting that will be at the administration building. You did receive an updated invitation for the ACES banquet. I want to thank Principal Stills and his assistant, Linda Hodges. They have made an adjustment in the venue, and it will include the dinner as we had done pre-COVID. So I know that takes a lot of additional effort, and they made that happen for our students and families and those educators that will be honored for the ACES. Also, May 4th is our senior awards night. I did put that in your update that I sent out earlier this morning, so that information is included. I also just want to share that Dr. Fletcher and I attended the Indiana Association of Public School Superintendents spring meeting this morning. We also had Stephanie Barrett start to attend these with us as she is finishing her PhD. We had some great presentations this morning, and one really stood out, which is Kevin Dill, who talks about the chronic behavior concerns that are occurring across the nation. And so he has done a lot of research and has worked with a lot of researchers on how to address these concerns in the classroom and how developmentally what's occurring with students' brains and strategies to assist them in being a regulated student in the classroom and then of course at home as well. We are going to be having Kevin for all the 4 counties of superintendents in our association for the study council. We will be having him come for 2 days at Hobart High School. Right now it's either going to be August 1st and 2nd or August 2nd and 3rd. So that will be a great day. I also added to your update that I will be at final session for EPIC this Thursday, and then I will be out for the EPIC graduation for the superintendent cohort 6, May 4th. So that will be a great time. We will be completing some projects, and I will make sure to share some of that insight with you that I learned from others, and also share with you once I determine what my projects will be. I had the pleasure of attending the National School Board Association conference with Trustee Vasquez and Trustee Maleta. We will be putting in place a future work session to share the various things that we took away from the opportunity attending that conference. Also, 9 to 5, the music hall. It is April 21st and 22nd, 7 p.m. at Portage High School. Come out and support these amazing kids, those kids in the pit band, the kids behind stage, those who are working in wardrobe and in makeup, the stage crew, and also those who are also talented doing the sound and lights. It's just a great production, and I will tell you that Mahapa really takes pride in the fact that this is a student-led production. The community survey for our strategic plan is open. Please, I know that Melissa Devers did share that with the entire strategic plan team to share out with any and all Portage Township residents. Please also, if you would take the time to complete that survey. I know everyone's busy, but it's 25 really important questions that will lead us in a good direction as we make those plans to develop the latest strategic plan. And I just want to wish all of our students the best of luck as we are starting today, standardized assessments, the iLearn, the IAM assessment. We are in full force, and I want to thank the tech team and Mrs. Williams and her team for making sure our kids will have a strong connection and good testing environment. The parents who are going to make sure our students have a great deal of rest. Our food service department who's going to make sure that all students have free breakfast. And the weeks that each particular school is taking the assessment, all students throughout the entire building will receive free breakfast that will be paid for by the food service team. So it takes a lot of people to make sure that these things can happen.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Dr. Alanez on her report? If not, we'll move on to, are there any items not on the agenda the board would like to discuss? I have one, so I do want to fill the board in on the process and the public on the process for replacement of trustee Troy Williams. As you know, trustee, as we said earlier in the meeting, has resigned from the District 1 position on the school board. So anyone who lives within the District 1 area, which, if you think about it on the map, it's where the Amtrak tracks run across through Portage, everything north of those tracks. You also could see that if you go to the Portage Township Schools website, you can look up the board districts if you're not certain. So anyone who is interested and resides in that district can send a notice of interest and a resume to Attorney Elwood's office by noon on April the 21st, so within the next 2 weeks. Dr. Alanis, if we could have Melissa put something out to the public and maybe on Parent Square, et cetera, with that announcement that we are accepting those applications.
But I extended that notice, we haven't published it yet.
To the 28th, okay. That's fine. 28th at noon, okay. At that time, we will schedule interviews, which will be held in public. And that date it'll be determined, and Cindy, if you could help us with that, coordinating those dates. After the interviews, the boards will meet in executive session, not to select the individual, but just to review those interviews and have discussion among ourselves on that. And then after that, we will come out and accept nominations and select our next board member. So that's kind of the process. So anyone who's interested, again, notice will be coming out where exactly to send your application and your notice of intent to Attorney Elwood's office. So hopefully we get some good interest, and a month from now we'll have a new board member here to represent that first district. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Anybody have anything else to discuss this evening? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Oops, see, I'm so used to just packing my stuff up.
I tricked you there, didn't I?
I'm already retired. Trustee Finley? Yes. Trustee Vasquez? Yes. Trustee Belletta?
Yes.
Trustee Wilkie?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.